have another fabulous project group about to present to you. Their team name and their app name is Rooting for You, so please take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Jay. I'm here with Holly, James and Georgia. We really appreciate your time for coming to watch us today. Our app's called Rooting for You, and we're really excited to show you what we've been working on for the past 3 weeks. Next slide, please. Okay, so the idea is we want to facilitate healthy eating, namely by encouraging our users to eat 30 different plant foods every week. Research has shown there are benefits to this, namely with increasing the variety of bacteria within your gut biome. Eating more vegetables has also been shown to improve everything from your immune system to your mental well-being. Now, I know for me, and I know for a lot of people, it's not always that easy. It's a difficult habit to begin, and it's even more difficult to maintain long-term. And that's why we think simplicity is so important. We don't have any nested, complicated settings menus. We don't have a whole lot of buttons. We just have a simple, clean, clutter-free user face that allows you to log your progress. It allows you to set goals, and it gives you some self-accountability. Along with that, we also have a reward system. We know this provides a sense of accomplishment and also helps you to build a more sustainable habit long-term. Our reward system is based on a series of badges. You earn those badges by reaching milestones with the more types of different plant foods that you eat, as well as for maintaining that over several weeks. Next slide, please. Okay, so our target audience. So put simply, our target audience is anyone who wants more plant foods in their diet. We see this as low-hanging fruit because there is a trend here. If you walk around Manchester, you'll see more and more food places opening up all the time that are really strongly leaning towards plant foods. So there is a business trend here, but I think there's also a personal trend here. And we like to say that sometimes all we need is a little encouragement. Now, I can't see you all, but I hope that you're as excited as this stock image of excited people. So now I'm going to pass you over to James, who's going to give you a walkthrough of our app.
Thanks, Jay. So yeah, here's our app. So the first page you come to is the sign in or sign up. So if I type in my username, then it'll do a GET request to the MongoDB on the back end, pull down all my user data. So you can see I've had 8 plants so far this week, and I've got 22 to go to reach that 30. On the left, you can see that my current streak of how many weeks I've been over 30, and on the right, my record week. So if I click to the next tab, which is the week tab, it'll show me all the plants that I've had so far this week in the top menu. On the bottom menu, it'll have all the other plants with the ones that I've already had filtered out. So it'll give me some suggestions for what I could have to get me up to that 30. So if I click to the next tab, the star, that's the badges tab. So I can see that I've already achieved the 5 fruits badge, and I can see all the other badges I can achieve. So for example, the 5 vegetables one in the middle there with the mushroom. If I click to the info tab at the end, I can get some information about why the 30 different plants are good, which plants are included in this, and what more I can do to help my microbiome. And it's got a link to the study on which the 30 plants idea is based at the bottom there. So if we go back to the home screen and add some vegetables, so I'm already on 8 plants, 3 vegetables this week. So if I add in some asparagus, it'll get me up to 9 plants, 4 vegetables. And then if I try and add asparagus again, I'll get an error saying that I've already had this week. So if I put in an avocado instead, I can add that, and I'll have achieved the 5 plants badge. So I'll get a notification saying I've achieved that badge. If I go back to the badges page, I can see that that's now in my list of badges. So that's the app, and I'll just pass you over to Georgia, who's going to tell you about the tech we used.
Thanks, James. So we felt that our idea was best suited for a mobile app so users could update and view their tracker when they're out and about. So we did consider native applications for Android and iOS, but ultimately we felt that React Native was better for the cross-platform compatibility. It allowed us to reach a wider audience, but also meant that everyone on the team could also use the app because we've got a range of Android and iPhones. So ultimately we found React Native quite intuitive to use, and it was very well documented. For the back end, so we identified early on that we didn't need a relational database and the linking capabilities that came with that. But we did need our database to be flexible. So after doing some research, we decided to use MongoDB for a few reasons. It was quite flexible. So we identified early on that we needed it to be. It's quite intuitive to use. So the object-oriented approach to the data structures was quite familiar to us. It has the capability to scale, which was important when we come to add new features on in the future and the data we need there. And it was very well documented as well, which made our lives much, much easier. So yeah, we hosted with MongoDB and we used their cloud service Atlas to host the DB in the cloud. And that allowed for a really seamless transition when we came to hosting the backend in production. We used Express to build our API as it's tried and tested and really simple to use. And finally, our backend was built with TDD. So we used Jest for the testing suite. And Holly will tell us a little bit more about why we use Jest in the challenges section. So I will pass on to Holly now.
Thanks, Georgia. So as Georgia touched upon, we did a test with Jest. We initially decided to use Mongoose to seed our database. That allowed you to set up classes before creating the database, just to allow a bit more consistency. However, when we started using Jest, we came across a lot of problems. We looked into the docs from Mongoose, and they specifically said Mongoose does not work well with Jest. So we had two options there. We could start a new testing suite, such as Chai or Mocha, or we could go and use traditional MongoDB with Jest. As you can see from George's slide, we went with MongoDB with Jest. We believe that Jest was the best testing suite for our needs to test every endpoint for our database. MongoDB also had everything we need, and whilst the classes would have been nice, it didn't affect the actual data that went into our data, as that was also consistent. Further to this, we did have issues with time management at the beginning. We spiked a lot of tech and we had a lot of conversations about the ideas for our app. This was really useful because it made sure that we had the right idea and the right technology when it got down to it. However, when we did get started coding, we didn't have as much time as we would have liked. To manage our time, we used agile working techniques such as Kanban boards and stand-ups to make sure everyone knew what they were doing and that we could keep on track. That ensured that we met our deadlines, and as you can see, we had a great final product despite those initial time problems at the beginning. We also initially wanted to use an API from the internet, and whilst there was a lot of food APIs, they didn't have all the information we needed, and we wanted to make sure that the information we had met the specifications of the microbiome studies so people could reach their 30-week without having any issues. So just moving on to the next slide now, James. Thank you. Growing into the future, we'd love to have a recipes feature to help people meet their 30 a week using the suggestions page. We'd also love to have a weekly planner and a shopping list, maybe connected to a supermarket, so you can make those decisions about the plants you eat for the week ahead of time, so you can reach that 30 without any issues. We'd also like to add more gamification. As much as we love the badge feature, we'd also love to have an interactive veg patch as well, which would show the user's progress in terms of vegetables growing, and that would keep people coming back to the app, keep people engaged, and in turn keep people on their 30 a week. And we'd also love to add animations and sounds for that same reason, just to keep users engaged and coming back to the app. So just on to the next slide. Thank you for listening to Team Rooting for You. We hope you enjoy our app. If you do have any questions, please feel free to put your hand up. Thank you.